Hey, in today's video, we're going to talk about 9v9 introductions to shapes, rotations, and phases. I'm going to break the video down into 4 categories. That would be neutral, build-up, attacking, and defending. So neutral for me is just what it looks like on paper when you write it down and assign positions, not necessarily the full roles and responsibilities. So in our neutral setup, we were playing in a 2-5-1. 2 centre-backs, defensive centre mid, a left and right wing back, 2 centre midfielders, and 1 centre forward. Using our 3 pillars of fitness, 2-touch soccer, and getting in behind, we will begin the video with our build-up play, working from the build-up phase into the final third with wide triggers of when to go. Just some field geography. I have divided our 9v9 field into 3 lanes labelled 1, 2, and 3, and 4 levels labelled A, B, C, and D. Level A is our final third, level B and C being our build-up area, and level D being our defensive third. And lanes 1, 2, 3 is just left to right. Now let's look at why this shape is so effective in regards to building through the lines, working on our passing and our 2-touch soccer. Starting with our entry into the build-up play, we have our goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs and defensive centre mid that create our bottom diamond that we can possess out of the back with. Our aim is to stay close enough where we always have options either to play back or get out of pressure, and try and always get on the half turn so that we can play forward. We have a right diamond with a centre back, right wing back, defensive centre mid and right centre mid. Same on the other side with the left diamond, and then as we progress up the field you will find ourselves in the top diamond with the defensive centre mid, left and right centre midfielder and the centre forward. There is no one way to build up. What we will need is players that want to be on the ball, willingness to have good body shape, to receive on the back foot, and outlet to the open man while working off the ball. When retaining possession, the aim is to move the ball at a 2-touch rate so our opponent's press becomes invalid, with the only difference of shape becoming when we enter into our top diamond so that we can release our wingers to join the attack and get into the final third. This leads us nicely into our next chapter of the video, and that is attacking. Before we get into attacking, I just want to add a quick reminder here that everything you're seeing on the screen right now is ideals. It won't necessarily always look like this, and we have to be willing to adjust to make the best of the phase or the situation we find ourselves in based on the opponent we're playing. The simple aims of attacking is to overload the final third with numbers so that we have options for the finish, the through ball or the service, whilst maintaining a strong rest defense with a 3-man and a goalkeeper behind them to make sure if we get caught in transition, we have enough bodies there to protect ourselves. You can see in this example that we have a man in each of the lanes, the left and right wing back in 1 and 3, with the centre forward in lane 2, with our left and right centre midfield into the attacking third, monitoring the half spaces so that they can receive cutbacks, play the ball forward, or have shots themselves. There's a wide variety of final third play that we'll work on in practice, and I can't wait to get out on the field to begin it. Moving on, we are now going to our next section, which is defending. Defending for me is split up into 2 phases, high defending and low defending, based on the team we are playing and our ability on the field at that current point. In this first example, we'll be looking at high defending in a press of a shape of a 2-3-3. I'm now going to go through each line and offer basic roles and responsibilities to make sure that we have a successful and sustainable press. I start my press from back to front, beginning with the goalkeeper. This position might be the most important position for our press to be successful. Due to the nature of American youth soccer, there's a high likelihood we'll be pressing our opponent onto their left, and our goalkeeper will be able to see everything ahead of them. They'll be calling out specifics using names of our teammates to make sure they're in the correct position, pressing on the correct angle, and making sure that any outlets for our opponent are covered with the levels below. There's flexibility with our press in regards to each line, but our centre-backs will be in charge of lateral movement and picking up their highest point, most likely their centre-forward. For our defensive centre mid, reading the press correctly will make sure they don't have to do as aggressive running. If the press is operating on our right, they will shift across laterally to cover up lanes 2 and 3, and opposite on the other side if the balls get played out from their back line. it's most likely that our left and right centre mid are going to be the ones that find themselves on the ball most often when we are pressing, if the front three do their job correctly. Now, there needs to be a little bit of recognition that when one moves left, the other must, and the angles, they may step through into A or drop into B to make sure that the wide lanes are protected to allow our left and right wing back to be more aggressive. There's a high likelihood that the opposition will have a centre mid in those areas that our left and right centre mid will have to communicate about picking up so that they do not receive the ball on the half turn and always making them play negative or win it back in that moment. And finally, our front three will be tasked with high energy, operating as a three-man unit to force our opponents onto their left, into their outside backs, and winning our 1v1 challenges. Our centre forward will dictate the pace, and our left and right wing backs will be given the green light to be effective and aggressive within their challenges. The hope is to win the ball back in A or high B so that we're straight away able to get in on goal with shots or service. Straight line running in our front three will get us outplayed and our press will be ineffective, so our front three will work in a horseshoe motion going from left to right as if they were all attached on a piece of rope together. In order to have a consistent and successful press, every man on the field will be responsible for their roles to make sure that we are consistent, effective, and willing to work as one in order to put the opposition under enough pressure so that they either make a technical error and we get the ball back, or that we force them into traps where we will win our challenges and get effectively back into the final third. The next phase of the video is still defending, but it's what it will look like if and when we defend deep. Defending in a low block takes discipline, awareness, and maintaining the integrity of our defensive structure, even under intense pressure from our opponent. There's multiple different scenarios that we could find ourselves in a low block. We might just be forced deep with our opposition's technical or possession ability. We may find ourselves in the final moments of the game having to defend a lead, or we may find ourselves suited better to counterattack starting in a low block so we can create space in behind the opponent's back line. In the next couple of slides, I'm going to explain the basic responsibilities of each line to create a solid low block. You can see here the defensive centre mid is dropped in to create a back three. Their job will be to step, drop, and shift left and right as one unit, making sure they prioritize defending the central lane, lane number 2. Our midfield line, again, will have to shift left and right, step and drop as one, but they will have to engage at a higher level of aggression to win the ball back. It is our aim to use the midfield line as a shield to protect the back three. The left and right wing back can drop in and out of the midfield and the back line, but their job will be to win us the ball back or break up play by playing the passing lanes to make sure our opponents cannot play splits or through balls to their forwards. Our centre forward will work on a horseshoe, pressing from left to right with the intent to press our opponent onto their left to force them into a 2v1 with one of our wing backs in the midfield line. High energy, high tempo will be needed from our centre forward to make them play out wide. Like the high press, the low block needs absolutely everybody to stay strong within their position and their discipline and their roles and responsibilities. We will need to move as if we are all one big unit in order to use our numbers to win the ball back. Simple things for a low block is make sure you're back behind the ball, make sure there's no space in between the lines or behind the back line, and that the goalkeeper is shouting out any gaps that they see, whether that be between lines or laterally between players. Thank you for your time in watching this video today. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to any and all questions that we may have about it. Have a great day, everyone.